Today on Grow the Earth, guys, we're going to talk about backyard chickens. And I'm going to go over the breeds that work in the area that I live in, why they work, how you can increase your egg production with a simple snack, what kind of requirements you're going to need to keep them in your backyard, and also help you figure out whether or not you want to grow from chicks or buy already birds that are already a couple months old for you. All right, guys, so when we're looking at chickens, there are a bunch of different breeds. There's even multiple types of chickens, and each one of them is going to have attributes that is going to determine whether or not that chicken is going to work well in your area. You have meat birds, which are just what it sounds like. They are a bird that is used for meat because they grow very fast and they become a heavy bird very quickly. And they are bred in a certain way that they become a very large chicken very fast. Your second type of bird is going to be an egg-laying bird. Now these are going to be a smaller bird, but they're going to produce eggs for you on a more consistent basis, and they're going to lay more eggs than most of your meat birds. And then you have what most everything I have is called a combination bird. And what that means is they are a larger chicken, so they're good for going in your freezer, but they're also that lays well. Now these are going to be your Buff Orpingtons, your Black Australorps, your Buckeyes, Six Links, breeds like that. And you'll have to do your own research on those and figure out what type of bird you want. And the reason that we chose a combination bird is because a chicken has about a 3 to 4 year span to where they lay eggs. After that, they still do lay eggs, but they drop off significantly. And the older the bird gets, the more they start dropping off. Just as an example, all the birds that we have here, these combination birds or dual purpose birds, they generally, when they're in season, lay about 1 egg a day. Out of 7 days, we usually get 5 eggs out of one chicken. Whereas we have one Buff Orpington that is going on 4 years old, and we probably get 2 or 3 eggs out of her all week. So you can see that her egg production is reduced by almost half, but she is still laying. So you know, it just depends on what your kind of threshold is and what you're looking for out of your chickens. And also here, I want to urge you guys, if you like what you've seen so far, right here in the corner, there's a little icon, and that's a subscribe button. I need you guys to click that, because if you guys want to see another video like this, or one of my other videos that is going to be more garden related, then you want to subscribe, because you're going to be able to get a notification whenever I upload a new video. So it kind of helps. That way you don't have to go looking for me, or you don't have to wait for my Facebook post with a link. And also, for you gardeners out there that are watching, I've seen in in Facebook comments and so forth that there are a lot of people that are looking for seeds and supplies and all these things. Well, here at the channel, we've actually partnered with a couple of different companies. We got links down in the description, and one of them, and I've got a description in there that kind of describes what they do. One of them is a seed company that also deals a lot with garden supplies, and that would be, you know, almost everything that you could need out in the garden. And the other one also has seeds, but they are more geared towards your greenhouses and things like that. because they have more seed starting trays and tents and so forth like that. So I will, if you guys click those links and you buy something, I will get a commission off of those. I'm not not going to push it. It was just something that I felt that maybe might help people who are looking for this kind of stuff. So now that we've got that out of the way, I want to get back to what birds are going to do well in your area. Here particularly, like the ones I listed, your black astrolaps, black sex lynx, buckeyes, and we have some comets. And those birds do very, very well with our heat that we have here in Zone 9A. Our first batch of chickens we got some buff Orpingtons. We did research and we saw that they were heat tolerant birds and so forth, and they said that they would do well in this area. But through our years, we have seen that actually they don't do very well in this area. Come to find out, the Orpington breed, I should say, have something in particular. They actually have a double layer of feathers. They have a really thick down layer, and then their outer feathers that you see. And that makes for a bird that doesn't tolerate the 100-degree weather we get for 3 to 4 months out of the year here in Zone 9A. So we've actually had problems with heat stroke and so forth. We had to put fans out here for them to make sure that they wouldn't get sick, that they were okay during the day. It became quite a chore. Now these are birds that had access to food and water and shade and everything else. But we had to go through an extra step and actually put a fan out here in the shade to cool them even more, whereas the other birds didn't need that. So, this is something to keep in mind. Learn from my experience. If you're living in a hot part of Texas, we lost 2 of the 3 buff Orpingtons we had to heat stroke. So, be a lesson to you on that one. Now on the inverse side, as you can see right now, you can see my breath a little bit because it's like in the 30s right now. We've had a bad cold spell come through in the Houston area, just south of Houston where I'm at, and you kind of get a trade-off. The chickens that are very heat tolerant don't tolerate cold very well. So keep that in mind. If you're watching my videos and you're from Oklahoma or north from there to where you get some bitter cold times, you probably want to do a little more research and make sure that those birds are more cold hardy than they are heat tolerant. These past couple days where we were dealing with teens and with wind chill factors, we were down in the single digits. We had to do some extra special stuff. We were having to lock our chickens up in our coop, as far as closing all the doors and trying to kill as many drafts as we could. We had to put them food and water in there, and we had to put a heat lamp in there to kind of keep them happy. I'm sure they were survived without it, but we were worried because during the day when they were out, you could tell that they were very cold, and we wanted to make sure that we didn't lose part of our investment in our chickens. Now I want to move on to whether or not you want to buy baby chicks and raise them up, or if you want to go ahead and buy a bird that is a juvenile. Here where I live, we have a local supplier that you can go and buy 1-day-old chicks, or you can buy chickens that are 3 to 4 weeks old, 2, 3 months old. It just depends on what breed she has that have gone longer. If you're buying from a Tractor Supply or a feed store, more than likely you're buying chicks. And I just kind of want to speak on this a little bit because A lot of people don't understand the care and the effort that goes into chicks. There's a reason when you go to the Tractor Supply or the feed store that chicks are only $2 or $3 a piece. And that's because they require a lot of care and a lot of special things that you have to keep up with to make sure that they survive. And in certain cases, no matter what you do, they won't survive. You know, we did chicks one time when we first got chickens, and we ran down that rabbit hole, and we've made the decision that that's not something we want to do, just because of the time and the effort and the possibility of losing those chickens or losing, you know, part of our investment before we ever get started. Like I said, chicks take a special amount of care. They have to be kept at between 90 and 100 degrees for the first month of their life. You have to have them in some kind of a container to where they have their food and their water. The food and the water has to be kept clean because they can get sick from eating things that they're not supposed to eat inside of their coop or inside of their little area. Whenever we raised chicks, we actually had a big tub that we kept them in, and that was because of something we read online that whenever you're raising chicks, you're not supposed to have something with corners, because literally they will go get stuck in a corner and starve. They require an extra level of attention that is, you know, that we just don't have time for. So whenever we decided that we were going to get more chickens, we just simply went down to our breeder and we bought chickens that were 2 months old. It was just an easier thing for us. That's a personal choice. There are plenty of people that start from chicks every year and they love it. It just was a personal choice that we didn't need to do that. Most chickens are going to start laying around 5 months, and you're going to have a period of time where their eggs are going to look kind of funny. You know, just depending on the chicken. Some chickens have difficulty when they first start laying. You'll get an egg without a shell. You'll get eggs with really thin shells. You'll get eggs that are really oddly shaped, things like that. And also towards the end of their laying time, you'll start seeing these same things happen, more with misshapen eggs and so forth. After you've gotten these chickens to a point to where they need to go outside, they need to have a coop, which you see behind us. And a coop has two areas. They have a run, which is the area that they're going to be congregating in during the day if they want to, which is where their food and their water are going to be more than likely. And you're going to have a coop or a hen house. Now, they serve two different purposes. You need a hen house for security of your chickens, to keep predators away and so forth. That's where more than likely you're going to have your laying boxes. And also that is where you're going to be able to close them up if you have inclement weather. Most chickens, when they go to lay, they want a place that is dark, quiet, and relatively closed in to make them feel safer so that they will lay. And for a hen house, you're going to need roughly 4 square foot, which is 2 foot by 2 foot. So if you have a 4 by 8 coop, you have 32 square foot. So you're going to be able to comfortably house 8 chickens there. Now, these are not hard and fast numbers. These are, you know, a rule of thumb. But I've found that with chickens, when they get into a tight space, they start getting to a point where they start picking on each other and pecking between chickens. You'll have arguments and fights inside. The more they're kind of close together to where they can't get away from each other. So you want to have as large a coop as you can comparatively to how big your flock is. Also inside of there, you're going to need laying boxes, of course, and you're going to need some sort of roost for your chickens to get up on. Some chickens will just bed down straight into the bedding or hay or whatever it is that you have inside of your coop. Others want to be up on a roost. And they will be quite upset if you don't provide that. The other part being the outside run area. This is where you're going to, contain them. If you don't want to free range your chickens, that's where they're going to basically spend their time. So you want to make sure they have a fairly large area, and because the more area they have to move around, the happier they're going to be. And the rule of thumb for a run is going to be roughly 10 square foot, which is 5 by 5, for each chicken. Now, for us personally, their coop, they only stay in there at night when they sleep. Their front door that they can get out of and get into their run is always open, unless, like we had these teens, we close it up for them to kill that draft. But they're able to freely go out in their run whenever they decide that they want to get up. And then I come and let them out before I go to work in the morning, which is right before sunrise. And at sunset, they put themselves up because they want to go in that coop because that's where they feel safe for nighttime. Again, these space requirements, they're not hard and fast, but I know when I was looking at chicken coops online and so forth, unless you're going to spend $500 to $600, you're not going to get something that's going to be very sustainable for anything more than 2 to 3 chickens, just because of the size of these poor things. I see chicken coops and they say they're good for 6 chickens, and I mean, the whole thing is not any bigger than my coop, and they're wanting you to stuff 6 chickens in there, and it's not feasible. You're not going to have happy chickens. A happy chicken is a laying chicken. And on to that, your chickens also have seasons. And these are naturally ingrained in them that during the summertime, they are going to lay more eggs. And during the wintertime, they are going to slow down on their egg production, just simply for survivability if they have chicks. We don't have a rooster, but it's still ingrained in them that they need to lay eggs, more eggs at a time of year where it is more sustainable to have chicks than a time of year whenever it can be cold and it's harder for them to keep those chickens warm and safe. So what the wife has found is that with a simple snack made of oats, olive oil, minced garlic, and cayenne pepper, we can boost their egg production, not only during the summer but also during the wintertime. Before we started feeding them this snack, we were getting out of 15 chickens, we were getting maybe 4 or 5 eggs a day. And after we started feeding them the snack, it has brought their egg production up to where we're getting between 10 and 12 eggs every day. So as you can see, it boosted significantly. Now, I know you heard cayenne pepper and you're saying, wow, that's going to be way too hot for my chickens. Well, there's not to worry because your chickens don't have receptors for spicy foods. Whenever they eat it, it is just like them eating anything else. They don't even notice it until it gets inside of their body, and then they feel the warming effect come from the inside out. They have seasons, and you can try and fool those seasons with artificial light and so forth like that, but we found that we don't do that because what it ends up doing is it ends up throwing them into a time to where they are they take longer to recover from that. Just like a person, God made Sabbath in the Bible to give the people a day of rest. Well, your chickens need rest also. So they lay heavy during the summer, but during the wintertime, they kind of lay off. And that's kind of their rest period for them and for their egg production of their body. So, yes, we are kind of modifying that with this snack, but it's also because of the fact of it is giving them extra nutrition and so forth that is going to help them lay more. So again, guys, if you're still watching, I want to invite you to email me if you have any more questions. Throw it down in the comments. Let me know, was this something that y'all like to see on my channel? I know it's kind of a detraction from what's usually on my channel, but I threw it out there on Facebook and I got some positive replies and people looking for this information, and I wanted to make a video on it. If y'all want to dive deeper into this, I need to see some kind of a feedback on it so that I know if I need to make another video. But guys, as always, pray over your family, pray over your garden, pray over your chickens if you have them. Make God first in your life and make a pledge to serve Him, and have a great day.